Hello there, viewers. Welcome to the series of me developing my dream game, and it's about a game that covers a self improvement and a story about how a MC trying to save himself from an existential crisis, which is I inform you is the most painful mental experience you can ever experience. Yeah, I take my word on that. And now, for that the game is introduced, let me introduce myself. For those who don't know, I am at the moment is just a solo developer trying to be a game developer or chasing my dream job and potentially make a living with this lifestyle and maybe even building a team. Who knows what could happen, right? And I'm hoping that I will become a great developer as well as great content creators. And also, I want to mention that I want to be an inspiration to others and make you guys want to chase your dreams too. And by going along in this with this series, so yeah, thank you in advance and I hope you get along well. And I don't know if I have to tell you this or not, but the video quality is kind of odd or unique to say the least, so you may get uncomfortable watching it, but I hope you will guys will get used to it in time. And yeah, I am trying to make my videos watchable too and make it don't feel like a chore to watch. And yeah, I wanna treat this as an adventure, which is kind of fun to make. And yeah, guys, that's really what I really hope we get along well. And yeah, thank you in advance for it. And as for one of my bucket lists, I'm hoping to build a community so I can talk to you guys in the comment section and have a conversation about the dream game I wanna make. Guys, play really bad, and I hope that is good request for you guys. And yeah, the following videos will show you proof of the game is progressing. And yeah, see you there. And without further ado, let's get on with it. And here we go, day 57. All right, another day of the week, huh? Which is day 57 of making a game. We're gonna continue the style of format we're already making on the previous days. And without further ado, let's get into it by first recapping yesterday's accomplishments. Here we go. Here's the clip of Michael recapping of yesterday's accomplishments. Okay guys, let's do this. But first off, once again, to explain this clearer, I have to bring the plans topics on that previous day, and as we have stated on that video. So here is what we have spoken about in the video. First, we're gonna adding the health bar and the mental energy feature for the game, and the second part we talk about is a player inner dialogue scene where it adds flavor of how main character currently thinking. And now for the results in yesterday's accomplishments. On the first part, it is successful and currently implemented with no caveats or cheap fix once again, and which is great. And the second part, which is the player's inner dialogue to show some flavor on the main character's thoughts, it is also successful too with no caveats. And yeah, it's a little bit easy to implement. And yeah, before I forgot to mention, I also finished the player's introduction too, which is on the introduction phase of the story game. It's not currently shown on the video of that video, I mean. And yeah, I'm pretty proud about it myself, and just like before, it feels like it's all coming together, right? The school environment and stuff. And yeah, it definitely feels like it, and I'm proud about it. And now with that, I should be not yapping. Without further ado, let's get back into Michael. And with the yesterday's accomplishments fully recap, let's move into the next part of the video, which is the plan for today. Here we go. Here's the clip of Michael discussing the game plan for today. So guys, I'm using PowerPoint presentation to make my explanation much clearer for the plan. And here is what I'm thinking. Since we don't have a backlog because all of the tasks for yesterday ended successfully, and with that stated, let's us bring something new into our game. So here's what I'm adding for today. First off, since our game is a school environment once again, I am thinking another important sequence where the teacher will ask a question, right? And after finishing the question, either one student will answer or all students will answer. And yeah, there are many variations to this, but what I'm implementing is the sequence will ask first, then demand a student to answer it, and then if possible, I'm gonna be adding another variation where all students perform a sequence of answer one by one, or meaning is after this student is next, gonna yada yada. Another addition, if possible, is I'm gonna adding some polishing into the player's inner dialogues and some events like showing what is his backstory and stuff like that, and like an event. What I'm meaning by events is in the introduction phase we talked about before on the previous days we documented. And yeah guys, that is the overall plan for today. And with that said, let's get back into you, Michael. Okay, as Michael said in the plan was I still get in the plan of the clip. And without a further delay, let's get into it with the first implementation, which is the sequence of event. Once again, at random times, the teacher will ask questions about that something and demands the student NPC will answer it. Without a further ado, let's get into it. Here's a clip of Michael after implementing it. Hey guys, I think I can show you guys the implementation, which is the teacher will ask at random times. This variation I implemented is this one. One of its variation where the student will answer the question. Where just one student will answer the question, I mean. And let me just show you what I mean by this. Let me click play real quick and trigger it manually in the debugging section by pressing the event key at my keyboard. And as we can see, the teacher will ask a question first, then sometime later the student will answer the question after hearing the teacher's question. And just like that, I think it is safe to assume we completed the first implementation for today. And with that, let's get back into you, Michael. And with the first implementation completed, said by Michael in the clip, let us get into the second one, which is another variation of event once again, but this time the sequence of event will do every student. NPCs one by one will answer one by one, and let's get into it. Here's a clip of Michael talking about it right about now. Okay guys, check this out. I completed this variation of the event where all students one by one is answering the teacher's question. And I think you get the whole idea by now, so let me just show you right away. Let me click play real quick. And trigger the event again, and let us see. The teacher is asking a question, then let's wait for a bit. And as we can see, the student is answering it one by one after where the previous student is finished answering. And yeah, pretty cool, right? And now it really feels like school once again. And yeah, with that said, once again, let's get back into you, Michael. And as Michael said on the clip, said the second implementation is completed, and after that I tried to add some polishing into the player's dialogues in some events, but I will not show you guys that because it is basically the same thing as previously stated on previous days, and just different. It is just different dialogues in the main player's thoughts. And yeah, that is about it. And with that, let us close the day with accomplishments of the day and accomplishments of what we did for the day. And here's a clip of Michael talking about it. Okay guys, before we get started for the accomplishments, let us bring up the plan stated and just confirm if it's successful or not. That's the format of this clip. And yeah, here we go. As we said earlier, what we are doing, the teacher is asking an event, that is an event where it demands an answer from a student, where we have two variations of this. One is only one student will answer the question, and the second variation is all student will answer the question of the teacher. And here we go. Let's get to the results. And the first variation, it is successful with no caveats unless you consider it is just text popping up and no voice and no really feeling, but from what we got, but that's what we got for now. And for the second variation, that is also complete as well, as shown earlier in the clips. And additional note is we also add some polishing or the story. We add so storing of player dialogues in those events, introduction sequence, and yeah, that is all what I did for today. And we are becoming closer once again to our dream project being complete. And with that accomplished stated, and I'm proud about it for the today's work. Let's get back into you, Michael. Yeah, guys, that's all for the day. See you guys tomorrow. Alright, day 58. Alright, guys, this is gonna be the last Unreal Engine 5 footage, I think, because we're almost finished with the mechanics of the game. And without further ado, let us start the day by recapping what we accomplished yesterday. So, here's a clip of Michael talking about it. Okay, guys, before we get started recapping the accomplishments, let me just bring the plan we stated on the yesterday. And yeah, here we go. As we said yesterday, we are doing a teacher asking event where it demands an answer from a student. We have two variations of implemented of this. One is only one student will answer the question, and the second variation is all students will answer it and answer the question one by one. And here we go. Let's get into the results. On the first variation, it is successful with no caveats, unless you consider it's just text popping up for now with no voice and whatsoever. But that is what we got for what we got. And for the second variation, we completed it as well, as shown earlier in the clips, yesterday's clips. And an additional note is we also add polishing and the story of the player dialogues in those events of introduction sequence. And yeah, that is all we did yesterday, and we are becoming closer, as I said, to our dream project being complete. And with that accomplishment stated, let's get back into you, Michael. And with the yesterday's fully recap, let us continue with the video by stating the game plan for today. So here's the clip of Michael talking about it. So guys, because we have completed yesterday's accomplishments without delays and or backlogs, let us again add this final or good enough basic mechanics for the game. So here's what I'm adding for today. First, we're gonna be adding polishing of the mental energy bar by making it regen over time to make the energy bar not stuck in exhaustion mode. And the second thing I wanna add is the friendless. Like, it is basically limiting the amount of interaction of the players it has in the beginning. Like, I think you would agree that you can't communicate to your enemy casually, right? And yeah, this is just a realistic addition to my game to make my game more realistic once again. And if possible, I'm gonna add a pause menu on the game as well, so we can pause the game to take a break, right? And because it is offline, I think it's only fair that we add that feature. And yeah, guys, that is we're gonna be trying to add, and it is a lot today. And yeah, that's about it. With that said, back to you, Michael. And yeah, with the plan stated in the clip, let's get into the implementation. So let's start with the first part, which is the polishing of mental energy to make it regen over time. But it is a slow process. So here it is. Here's a clip of Michael after implementing it. So guys, after implementing it, I think I can show you guys this. And yeah, I think you get the idea by the regen part. So let me just show you the implementation. So let me click play real quick and wait for a bit. So let me exhaust my energy first and let us see. And as you can see, it is regenerating slowly, but it is there. And we have the debug message in here and how much energy is actually on the screen. And yeah, that is the implementation of the regen part. And with that, let's get back into you, Michael. So after the first implementation done, let us get into the second one quick, which is the friend list of the main player to limit their interactions up to the number of NPCs. It is only on the beginning though, and it is gonna be gradually expanding, and which they are not close with. Yeah. And so here's a clip of Michael after done implementing it once again. So guys, I think I implemented it and I set this NPC as non-interactable for potential reason might be is when you don't know someone who you don't want to talk to them casually, right? And yeah, let me just show you and let's try to interact with this NPC first. And as you can see, it is normal, but this NPC that we set up to be a enemy or some sort, let us try. And as you can see, the player didn't even try and just doubts himself for his realistic touches for the game. And yeah, that's about it for the implementation. And yeah, with that, let's get back into you, Michael. And when the second implementation also done, let us do the last part of the implementation of basic mechanic for in the Unreal Engine. And that is making the game pause, like literally pause, with some widgets to interact in the pause section. So here we go. Here's a clip of Michael after implementing it. So guys, just a reminder, I think this would be the last mechanics of the game because I really think the mechanics is almost done, and we have to focus on the asset creations or designing the characters for the game, and we're just going back to Blender once again. And yeah, let's get back on track. And so this is the pause menu I just implemented. Let me just show you what I mean by this. And so let me click play real quick and see this menu button on the UI. And as before, it was useless button, just a display. And let us click it, and as you can see, it brings up this menu UI, which is the basics buttons just for now. But it is cool thing that is when I click this resume, the whole game resumes at execution. And yeah, that's about it for the implementation. It has no caveats on it. And with that, let's get back into you, Michael. And yeah, with the third implementation done, let's finish the day with the accomplishments of today's work. So here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So before we recap the day, let me bring first the plan so I have an easier time explaining this. So here's what we talked about in the plan. We have 3 implementations that we did today. 1, it is mental energy regeneration feature polishing, and 2, it is the friend list to limit the amount of players interaction at the start to gradually increases the amount of interaction based on stuff so how sociable you are. And for the third implementation, it is the pause menu, since it's gonna be an offline game, so it makes sense in case of break time of the user playing the game. So here are the results. As we all know, all of them got implemented, but let me add details about its current state on the first current states. So on the first implementation, which is the regeneration, is complete with no caveats or cheap fixes to it. And for the second implementation part, which is the friend list implementation, it is also gonna be working with no cheap fixes, but I have to manually set it first on the debugging section, but it's gonna be fixed later. But it's gonna be fixed in the future. So, and for the third implementation, it is also working with no cheap fixes because it is actually pause everything on the game except the widget, so there's no illusion of pause to it. And yeah, that's about it, guys. I think this is gonna be the last Unreal Engine footage because tomorrow we're gonna be working on Blender once again to finally create the characters and start the polishing stage. And yeah, that's about it. And with that, let's get back into you, Michael. And yeah, guys, that's about it for today. See you guys tomorrow. Alright, day 59 of making a game. I think I said before we are done with the basic mechanics of the game, and now let us move on to the polishing stage. As going forward, the video style would be a little bit different since we are just designing and not implementing features or logic on the table. And yeah, with that, let's do the first clip of which is recapping yesterday's accomplishments. So here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So before we recap the yesterday's accomplishments, let me bring first the plan, so I have an easier time explaining this. So here is what we talked about in the plan. We have 3 implementation of it yesterday, and it is 1, mental energy regeneration feature polishing. Number 2 is the friend list to limit the player's interaction at the start and gradually increase the amount of interaction later. And third implementation is the pause menu, since it's gonna be an offline game and it makes sense in case of break time of the user playing the game. So here's the results. So as we know, all of them got implemented as I said yesterday, but let me add details to its current state. As reminders, so on the first problem, which is the regeneration feature, it is complete with no caveats or cheap fixes to it. And for the second problem, which is the implementation, which is the friend list to the player to limit its interaction with too much NPC. And it is also working with no cheap fixes, but I have to manually set it first in the debugging section, but it's gonna be fixed in the future. And for the third implementation, it is gonna be working with no cheap fixes as well, because it is actually paused everything in the game, and except for the widgets that is displayed, so there are no illusions of pausing to it. And yeah, that's about it, guys. And with that, let's get back into you, Michael. And with the yesterday's accomplishments fully recap, let's proceed to with the next clip stating the plan for today. Here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So guys, let me remind you again on the polishing. We are on the polishing stage of the game, and today I'm planning to create our very first character of the game for the game. I mean, it is literally necessary at this point, since Unreal Engine characters animations are limited to a certain animation, yeah. And let me bring what stage are we in. So we are on the first stage of creating our first character, which is sculpting. And right now, I tell you that I'm afraid because I have no experience on it whatsoever. But in real life, I touch clay and transform it into a design. And it is just on the digital space like Blender. I'm still very unfamiliar with it, and yeah, that's the problem right now. It's a skill issue for me. And let me finally bring the plan for the goal of the day. It's an easy today, that is to make our human figure foundation. I mean, it's an anime girl, so designing it later is gonna be easier, as well as getting it to know the brushes of sculpting in Blender. And yeah, with that said, let's get back into you, Michael. And with the plan stated, let us just watch the stuff on the screen and see the foundation of our first character, and since it is first time sculpting in Blender, it is gonna be a little bit rough in the edges. And yeah, with that, let's close the day with stating of our accomplishments of the day, but it's gonna be a little bit different than before, as you'll see in this clip. So guys, I have to explain why this accomplishment is gonna be a little bit different than before. So the main reason is why this clip is gonna be different is because, unlike Unreal Engine footage, this is just a designing in Blender, and because that is the case, we are just gonna be doing before and after of the design. But first, what we have stated in doing and stated in the plan is we are gonna be creating our very first character, and today it is gonna be learning about the brushes and building the foundation of our anime sculptor character. And as we see on these two pictures below, we can't really say that it is an anime sculptor character because it lacks details, but that is what I got for today, and please forgive me for the lack of results. It is my first time on sculpting in Blender, and you know, I am straight jumping into the boss fight, if you know what I'm saying, because I have a lack of skills, bro. And yeah, and with that, let's get back into you, Michael. And yeah guys, that's about it for today. See you guys tomorrow. Alright, day 60 of making a game. Let us continue where we left off yesterday, but first let us recap yesterday's achievement. So here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So guys, I have to explain why the accomplishment is gonna be a little bit different than before, as I said yesterday. So the main reason why this is gonna be different is because, unlike Unreal Engine footage, this is gonna be designing in Blender, and because of that is the case, we're gonna be doing this before and after of design and style of accomplishment of today, if you know what I'm saying. But first, as we have stated in the plan yesterday, we are gonna be creating our very first character. And today it is only gonna be learning, and yesterday is gonna be only learning about the brushes and building the foundation of our anime schoolgirl character. And as we can see on these two pictures below, we can't really say it's an anime schoolgirl at the moment because it lacks details, but that is what we got for now. I got for yesterday. So please forgive me for the lack of results, as yesterday said, as stated. It is gonna because it's first time. It's gonna be first time I use Blender, and it's literally just me straight jumping into the boss fight with the lack of skills. And yeah, that is all I can say about it. And yeah, with that, let's get back into you, Michael. And now, yesterday's accomplishments is fully recapped, let's move on to the plan for today. So here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So guys, let us continue with the very first character creation. So to remind you guys again, we are gonna be sculpting, or we are on the sculpting stage right now of our very first creation of characters. And with earlier mentioned that we created our very first and our own foundation of our very first character, and today we're gonna be continuing just that, our progress, by adding hands and feet sculpt to it. So we get closer to our goals of creating our very first character mesh for our game. And I still learn about how to sculpt in sculpting fast and at this digital space. And yeah, that's about it. And with that, back to you, Michael. And with the plan fully stated in the clip, let us sit for a bit and enjoy this designing time lapse. While we are on it, I want to talk about why it looks ugly. Well, it is because I don't know how to put more vertices in their finger spaces, and that is why it looks blocky, and still it looks unfinished and not good enough design to be considered ready to be a hand or a feet. But oh well, now that I pointed it out, let us finish the day with the accomplishment of the day. So here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So guys, let us get into it. So as we talked about on the plan earlier, we are going to be continuing creating our very first game character, and right now we are done in sculpting mainly the hand and feet today, and here's the before and after results. And as we can see, it's still very early to tell if we can call it a hand or a feet because it feels very blocky still, but to tell you the truth, it is because of the remesh algorithm in Blender that is making it very hard to control, because it doesn't give me enough yet vertices to work with. And for example is that on the finger and toe spaces, and it makes them join, and that's really annoying. And yeah, that is the reason we can't say it or still call it ready today. And yeah, in my opinion on the brushes, I'm still learning about them, and it's still a little bit of getting used to. And for my experience at sculpting, I think it is kind of satisfying learning 2D references in about anime schoolgirl features on the internet and try to copy it and try to convert it into 3D with this method. Like it feels like an actually play work, you know. And yeah, that's all about it. That's all I gotta say. Oh, and with that, let's get back into you, Michael. And yeah guys, that is all I did for today. See you guys tomorrow. Alright, day 61 of making a game. Let us again continue where we left off yesterday, and yeah, once again, let us start with today recapping what we have done yesterday. So here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So guys, let us get into it. So as we talked about on yesterday's plan, we're going to be continuing creating our very first game character, and right now we are done sculpting mainly the hand and feet today. yesterday, I mean, and here is before and after results. As you can see, it is very early to tell if we can tell, you can even call it a hand or a feet, and still, because it feels very blocky still, but I have to tell you the truth, it's because of the remesh algorithm in Blender, and it's very hard to control because it doesn't give me enough vertices to work with or polygons. And an example of that is on the finger and the toes spaces, and yeah, that is the reason we can yeah, we can't say it is very early to call it ready for the game. And yeah, that's all guys we did for yesterday, and with that, let's get back into you, Michael. So with the yesterday's accomplishments fully recap, let's us move on into the actual plan for today. So here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So guys, let me start off by saying we are on the stage of the game development where we start to polish our game a little bit because we're mostly done with the basic mechanics of the game, and now we're gonna be continuing the creation of our very first character. And as a reminder to all of you guys, here is the stage of creating a character, and right now we are on the sculpting stage. And today I'm planning to sculpt the foundation of the hair as well as sculpt the eyes of our game character while still learning how to sculpt better in Blender. And yeah, that is all we're going to do for today. And with that said, let's get back into Michael. And with the plan stated, let us watch for a bit. And as you can see, our game character, which is an anime girl, is taking its shape. And yeah guys, I'm trying to improve at this skill issue of mine with sculpting in Blender, but at each day I keep putting the effort, and no matter how bad I am currently. And yeah, now that we are almost done with the footage, let us close the day with the accomplishments of the day. So guys, let us do this. And first off, let me state the plan as usual. And what we talked about is that today we are going to be sculpting the hair foundation and as well as the eyes, and try to improve the other areas of where we already sculpted the mesh. And alright, without further ado, here are the yesterday's progress and today's progress. And as you can see, the hair foundation is still unfinished, but we're gonna be working on it in the future, probably tomorrow. And for the eyes, I think it is absolutely beautiful because I think it captures the style we are going with, because as we said before, we are creating an anime schoolgirl character, since it makes sense because our location, our map is a school environment. And yeah, I think I'm proud of it, about the eye design. And moving on about my opinion on the brushes, I think I'm getting used to it, and because I feel like because I feel like it is getting easier to sculpt, and as well as to progress as we progress into the series. And yeah, from my opinion, I think sculpting is starting to become fun and to do. And you know, like, it's kind of satisfying because I just brush and the mesh transforms because of it. And I think I said enough. And yeah guys, that's all for today. And with that, let's get back into it, Michael. And yeah guys, that is all I did for today, and see you guys tomorrow. Alright, day 62 of making the game. Okay guys, let us once again start the day by recapping yesterday's accomplishments. So here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So guys, let's do this. First off, let me state the plan as usual and what we talked about in that day's plan. We're going to be sculpting the hair foundation and the eyes as well in our game character. And alright, without further ado, here are the yesterday's progress and today's progress. And as you can see, the hair foundation is still unfinished, but we're gonna be working on it in the future, probably today. And for the eyes, I think it's gonna be beautiful because I think it captures the style we are going with, because as we said, we are we're going to be creating an anime schoolgirl character, since it makes sense because our location is a school environment. And yeah, I think I'm proud about it, about the eye design myself. And yeah, that's all, guys, what I did on yesterday's accomplishments. And with that, let's get back into you, Michael. So, with yesterday's accomplishments fully recap, let's continue the day by stating the plan for today. So, here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So, guys, here's what I'm planning for today. First off, again, let me remind you guys again that we are on the stage of game development where the basic mechanics are done. And here are the stages of game development. And right now we are here on this stage of the game development, which is the polishing stage, where we try to improve the design of the game. And with that stated, let me say what we're going to do for today is continuation of our sculpting of our first game character. And mainly I'm going to sculpt is finally designing the hair, that we have made a foundation on yesterday's progress, and the sculpt, and also sculpt the ears of our very first game character. And yeah, that's what I'm planning for today. And with that, let's get back into you, Michael. And with the plan stated, let us continue the video. And now we have to watch the process of making the sculpt. While we are on it, I'm gonna say that sculpting in Blender is getting easier for me. Like, I really feel like I am getting an easier time sculpting on it because I am getting used to the brushes on it. And yeah, guys, I see you in a bit. And yeah, now that the footage is almost over, let us close the day by stating the accomplishments for today. And without further ado, let's get into it. So guys, let's do this. And again, we have to have an easier time explaining this. I have to bring up the plan what we talked about earlier in the clip. So as said, we're going to be sculpting the hair design after we have set up the hair foundation on yesterday's progress, as well as sculpting the ears of our very first game character. So here are the results, and as we can see below, on the hair design, it is very simple, but I think I'm proud of it myself because this is the first time I'm doing a hair design. And for my first try, I think I'm very proud of it myself. And yeah, I have to say I did copy it in the internet with the 2D references and how anime hair is designed. And yeah, I think I did a very good job for the first try. And even though it is simple design, and now for the ear design, as we can see it is absolutely beautiful. But I wanna add if we can call it an anime ear, since what I reference in my mind is a realistic version of ear, like a realistic real life ear, you know. But I think it fits the design. But yeah, I think it blends in very well. And yeah, that is all the results. And my opinion in the brushes is that it is becoming a second nature on me, and I just have to figure out how to sculpt it in different ways and to guess which is faster. And yeah, it really feels great when everything is becoming a second nature. And yeah, that is all I can say for now. And without further yapping, let's get back into Michael. And yeah, guys, that is all I did for today, and see you guys tomorrow. Alright, day 63 of making a game. Okay guys, you all know the drill already. Let's start the video by recapping yesterday's accomplishments. And without further ado, let us get into it. Here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So guys, let's do this again. To have an easier time explaining this, I have to bring up the plan of what we talked about on yesterday's clip. So as said, we are going to be sculpting the hair design after we have set up the hair foundation on yesterday's progress, as well as sculpting the ears of our very first game character. So here's the results, and as you can see on the hair design, it's very simple, but I think I'm proud of it because this is the first time I'm doing the hair design. As for my first try, I think I'm proud of it about it. And yeah, I have to say I did copy to the internet with 2D references and of how anime hair is designed. But and yeah, I think I did a very good job at first try, even though it is a simple design. And now for the ear design, as you can see, it is also beautiful, but I wanna add that if we can call that an anime ear, since what I reference in my mind while sculpting that is the realistic version of ear, you know. But I think it fits to the design. But yeah, I think it blends in very well. And yeah, that's all I can say for now. And without a further more yip-yapping, let's get back into you, Michael. So that we recap that yesterday's accomplishments, let's get into the plan for today so we get the context of what is happening in the video. So here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So guys, here's what I'm planning for today. But let me state once again, we are on the stage of game development where we are creating our very first game character by hand. And here are the stages of creating a character. And right now we are on the very beginning of the stage where we just sculpt the desired mesh of our very first character. And we are gonna be continuing creating our very first game character by sculpting another parts of it. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to add details to the body, because on previous days it's just a foundation. And here's what I'm gonna do: the neck bump, the toes, the knees, the arms, and the leg muscle area. And yeah guys, that is all I think I'm going to do for today. And with that said, let's get back into you, Michael. So with the plan stated, let us just watch the whole footage for now. While we're at it, I want to say that doing this journey has taught me a lot of things since I started doing this doing this lifestyle, you know. And yeah, I learned how to use Blender and as well as Unreal Engine workflow and its basics, and reflecting on it, it really makes me appreciate how far I come. Considering I started with no skills in hand, you know. And yeah, that's about it. And with the footage almost over, let us close the day by the accomplishments of the day. So here's a clip of Michael talking about it. So guys, let us start off by stating what we first talk about on the plan. So as today, what we did is applying details to the body of our very first game character, and here's the list: the neck bump, the toes, the knees, the arms, and the legs, the leg muscle area. And now for the results. As we can see below, the neck bump is slightly realistic once again, because when I designed that, my reference in my mind is once again a realistic one version. But just as before, I think it blends well with the design. And now for the toes, I think it represents the realistic toes once again, because I also reference a realistic toes on my mind, but it's not too realistic in a sense, but I think it looks good too, and it blends well with on the design. And for the knees, I'm having a hard time figuring out its structure, and that's why it looks like it is a weird form, you know. But I will fix it in the future. And yeah, that's what I got on the knees design, and it is kinda a meh design, but it is alright. And lastly, for the leg muscle areas, I think you can also guess that I also reference it as a realistic muscles, my leg muscles once again. But it just captures the shape, not really realistic details. But I think I can live with that. And I have no more opinion on the brushes, because just as yesterday stated, the brushes are kind of becoming a second nature to me. And yeah, it feels great to have that finally experience. And yeah guys, without further more yip-yapping, and with that said, let's get back into you, Michael. And yeah guys, that's all I did for today. And unfortunately, we're not gonna be doing the gameplay of the week, since we are now just working in Blender footage and designing stuff. And the clip will be back, the gameplay of the week will be back once we go to Unreal Engine once again, footage of that. So with that said, I will see you in the special message of the week. So guys, here's my message for you, and I really want to share it with you guys as token of appreciation for watching my videos. So as a context, I have been having a hard time continuing this journey lately, and for most of the time, I'm always somehow trying to avoid the task again and again. And recently, that I realized that I am fearing of the feel of fearing of failure, and it doesn't really necessarily mean that failure is bad. Is that? But I think when I think about not putting the same breakthroughs as before, it really makes me paralyzed to work even more because there is some thought in my mind that maybe I'm just wasting my time putting effort in this journey because of how little my efforts will be, and maybe today's progress will be a disappointment, making me paralyzed about working and make me end up not putting the effort for progress continuing this journey, man. But I also counter this paralysis of mine by realizing that as long as you start at the work you're supposed to do, it will make this paralysis weaker, because I believe starting at work not at your best will make you reevaluate your work if it's still valuable in your eyes as of right now. And for me, it is still valuable, and that is why I'm getting ground from this paralysis of mine. So my message is that if you wanna do something but paralysis is holding you back, making you overthink of how to do it, and at the end of the day you end up not putting the effort at all, I want to tell you by engaging at it at all will make you reevaluate that work's value. And if you come to the conclusion that it is still worth it, then I believe you will start moving again. And that is my take. And if you like this advice, please comment what you think about it, and so I know if it works on you or not in the comment section. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because to tell you the truth, it helps me a lot. And yeah, with that said, peace out.